vehicle, but that's about it. Let's talk a little bit about accelerator pedals. This is actually an accelerator pedal I bought from EV Source.
Okay. Yeah.
I believe.
Got that one a while ago.
It's a Toyota Prius accelerator pedal. This is the one that they're talking about, and
yeah, they're having problems.
So much grief over on
those
television.
Those poor guys.
Now, the reason we didn't use it is the same reason. Every time we go to mount this thing, we wind up in the floor. It's actually a great pedal.
Yeah, very nice, yeah.
But you have to have a vehicle with kind of a vertical wall.
Up, yeah.
You know, to mount it on.
And no floor mat.
Or you wind up down like this, and it caught up in the floor mat. That's the only reason we didn't use this pedal
but there's a great
on
pedal.
the original Speedster. It looks much more like a Volkswagen pedal. Got the little rib thing. It actually looks very VW. It's a pedal out of a Toyota Prius. He files off all the numbers, so they won't know he's selling their pedals. And now it's... whoa, I don't know. But there's nothing wrong with the pedal.
No.
It's simply a matter of geometry. You have to be careful what you put it in physically. This is a Hall effect pedal. Most of the guys trying to do this on cheap use something like this. This is what they call a pot box. It's spring-loaded and lets you hook up your current accelerator to the swing arm. Getting the throw of the pedal and the throw of the swing arm right is a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
We
had it hooked up on the Speedster. Yeah.
Hard to do. That's why all the little holes along here is so you can find some point of leverage that matches your accelerator. Why don't I like this? This is a 5K potentiometer and a fairly cheap one inside of it. Potentiometers are basically a ring with a winding wire all the way around the ring like a toroid, and the wiper, they call it, is a little contact that slides along the ring, making contact with the wire, physical contact with the wire, and passing current through it. Every time you wipe it, you run that wiper across that area of wire wound resistance, and you wear it out.
Yeah, you would. Or
so a few hundred of these, and you'll have a favorite spot you like to drive, 30 or 35. This is how you control your controller, is with a 5K pot. And this is what all the wiring diagrams show on all the controllers.
Yep, that's your 5K pot.
This wears out and it gets spots in it that then don't react right. And so you have kind of glitchy acceleration if you manage the geometry to hook all this up. These two pedals are called Hall effect pedals. Let's talk about the 5K pot, what they do with it. It's a 3-wire hookup, typically. Sometimes they'll have a switch for on, but it's basically 5 volts and ground from the controller, and you take the wiper and send it back to the controller. It'll be something between 0 and 5 volts. Hall effect. The Hall effect is named after John Hall. It's an observation that the voltage in a wire will vary depending on its proximity to a magnet.
All right, the Hall effect.
And a Hall effect sensor. These are current shunts where we measure a little bit of voltage across a very small amount of resistance in this. A Hall effect sensor goes around it, has no contact, no resistance, and so doesn't have any ability to melt. And again, uses the same effect to produce a little voltage that represents the current.
Represents the current. Okay.
And so these Hall effect pedals use this magnetic principle to generate a little output voltage. And it'll typically be a couple of 3 volts. This one has 2 outputs, just like our Mini, like a 0 to 2 volts and a 0.7 to 4.5 volts. This is a Kelly Hall signal, And it's basically the same thing. Some subset of 0 to 5 volts. You don't get the full 0
Don't get
to
it
5
all.
volts.
Yeah.
But all the controllers, almost all of them, have software settings where you can set the minimum, what is the minimum voltage for your accelerator, and what the maximum is.
Right.
And they have a 3-wire connection. They don't care how the 5 volts gets there. They provide 5 volts in a ground. We tried just tying the grounds together on the Mini,
yeah.
but the DME power supply wouldn't put out enough signal from the accelerator to actually drive the controller.
drive the controller.
As soon as we hooked up the controller's 5 volts, it worked fine.
Work it. Yeah.
It doesn't care that it's not a potentiometer, and it doesn't care. It's just going to put out a signal between 0 and 5 volts representing your foot position, and that's what you need to drive the controller. What's the advantage? 10 million of these. I not only can't wear it out, I'm not touching anything.
Right. It's just proximity.
It's just proximity.
Yep.
And so they're kind of unlimited life. They're quite safe. In theory on any of these, I guess if you lost the ground to this, you're going to get the whole 5 volts back to the thing and an uncontrollable acceleration. So use 2 wires.
Yeah, just use 2.
But that's the nature of it. This is from Kelly. They're about $75. They've actually gotten to be cheaper than the pot boxes. This was somewhat more, but again, it's a kind of rip-off of an automotive part that he's selling there. Like I said, great pedal, great looking pedal. I think we spray painted this one black and took off the tags, and it worked fine in the Speedster.
And we could mount it. It was. It didn't take a lot.
I found one from another Chinese supplier, $49. It's on its way.
Okay.
So that's the Hall of Fame. Let's talk about some more Chinese stuff. This Chinook company, I told you, we got a 6.5 pound charger here that weighs 28 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
Tested their DC to DC converter, found this on eBay. They're going to send me a bigger one, a 600 watt. This is a 400 watt. Remember, we were doing 400 watt converters and testing them. A lot of fins on this, a really neat box, and a very unusual hookup. You hook up the black and yellow wire to your traction pack, and on this DC converter, and you can get them different kinds. It doesn't say. I think this was up to 150 volts. We measured it at 100 volts traction. They do have a switch wire. Most DC to DC converters now have these switch wires to switch them on with your ignition. This hadn't got anything to do with the ignition. You have to tie it to the yellow lead of the traction pack, and you can do that with a relay with your ignition. But it's just a very unusual thing.
Yeah.
I had to contact them about this. What I like about it, it got a nice soft rubber socket for the kind of fuse I like. These little standard, what do you call these fuses, Brian?
You know, I don't know what the name is for that automotive fuse.
It's an automotive fuse,
Yeah.
the little thing. They've got a really nice firm seat in here and a weatherproof protector, and so a fuse on the traction pack input. What else did I like about this? We ran it at 45 amps, which is 50% above its rated capacity. 100 volt input, 45 amp output for an hour.
Yeah.
It didn't like it. It got hotter than hell.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't like it either.
Yeah.
Ran it at 30 amps, it's rated power, for 6 hours. It got hot then too.
Yeah.
I would not use this in a high current application. But if you are normally going to be doing 15, 20 amps, and you need something that'll put out 40 in a pinch for a few minutes, turn on the headlights or something like that, you won't need it to keep them on, but some of the headlights have got a big surge when you first turn them on. This will work great. What else do I like about it? I got it on eBay. $99 delivered anywhere in the continental United States. This is officially the cheapest one I've found.
That is at that price.
99
Yeah,
bucks shipped to your door anywhere in the continental United States. That's Chinook. let's talk about chargers. Briefly, we'll talk about chargers. We don't have a whole lot of time left on our camera, I imagine, and I can talk about chargers forever.
We've been talking.
We've been looking for chargers, as you know. The Bruce has gotten to be too expensive even for us. Realistically, if you could set the voltage